Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of OHKO, a Pokémon VGC podcast. Lots to talk about this week, especially considering we skipped last week, but for good reason. Too busy playing that DLC, and of course, for Joe Brown attending San Antonio. My name is Sierra Dunn, one of your hosts, of course, joined by my co-host, Joe Brown. How are you doing? It's been a while.
I know, it's been too long. You were like on the road, but you weren't on the road with us at the same time, so it was like awkward because usually if we're both on the road, it's to the same event. So it was a great time. You were definitely missed in San Antonio. We still did have a lot of fun, but you know, we give you a shout out on the broadcast.
It was so funny because for anyone watching, I was working at Valorant events actually in Frisco at the Complexity headquarters. I had such a great time. I don't regret missing San Antonio for it, even though I did miss all my Pokemon people, and it looked like you had a fantastic time with all the Christmas stuff. But I had a lot of fun with Valorant. I absolutely love Valorant. But I tuned into the Pokemon broadcast once, and it was right during Joe Ugarte's interview, and he's like, shout out Sierra, and Gabby's, who was interviewing him, goes, hi, Sierra! And then she tosses it back to you and Jake, and then both of you are like, hi, Sierra! Which made me smile. That was the only minute that I caught of the entire broadcast all weekend, and it was right then, which I thought was so perfect. I don't know how y'all knew, but
yeah, that was all Gabby. That just because of how earnestly Gabby said hi, Sierra, as if you were physically there. You know what I mean? That me and Jake were like, all right, well, we got to say hi to Sierra too. And it just, I was like, all right, I got it. And she's like, oh, back to you guys. It's like transition, whatever, quiet. Hi, Sierra. It was just perfectly timed, honestly.
It made me smile. I ran out to my co-caster for Val, and I was like, they just gave me a shout out on the I say that like I'm not on the broadcast every second time. Like, they just gave me a shout out on the Pokemon broadcast. I was super pumped about that. But of course, one of the reasons that we weren't able to record a podcast last week was because there was San Antonio, and for myself, I had to head out to Frisco early for media day and stuff for Valorant. Plus, the DLC just dropped, which kind of was, we don't want to record on the same day as the DLC dropping because we want to talk about the DLC, but people need to play it first. But now we can talk about all of the things because I beat the DLC. I think you have as well.
Yeah, for sure. So we're able to talk about this. Everybody, it's been like a week and a half. We're not going to go crazy into it, but you could have had time, and if not, maybe skip a little later into the episode if you don't want to know that Kieran's a baby. Spoilers, Kieran's a baby.
I want to dive right into everything about the DLC, honestly. So if you have not played, this is probably your warning to sit. If you care about storyline, probably sit out for the next 15-30 minutes. I don't know if you're on YouTube. Yeah. I will try and remember to do the bookmark. I'm so bad at that. I'm sorry. And then later on, we'll talk about the competitive aspect of it, and then we'll head into San Antonio stuff. But first impression of the DLC, what did you think of the Indigo disc?
I thought it was initially exactly what we assumed, Sierra, that the part 2 of the DLC was going to be much meatier than part 1, which made me happy because part 2 was more enjoyable and it was more expansive and I had more fun with it, but then it also re-frustrated me that part 1 was so lacking. As I was enjoying part 2, I was like, man, remember how part 1 kind of had nothing but Ogerpon and those little races to do. So overall, I would say I'm very much pleased with the overall product. Let's say now little Timmy gets Scarlet and Violet in the DLC for Christmas, and when he's done eating glue, he plays the DLC and he plays part 1 and part 2 together,
and you can get his Charizard in part 2.
Exactly. I think it's a solid product, but individually I don't think they hold up, but now that it is 2 parts, I think it is a solid DLC for Pokemon fans.
So normally I'm that type of person that sits and plays through something from start to finish, or as much as I can in terms of a Pokemon game. So I don't sit down for just 20-30 minutes and play. I'll sit down game for 4 hours, whatever. But because I was working, my time with the DLC was very split. And I don't know if that's why I have the opinions I have of it, but I thought it was pretty lackluster in terms of it doesn't actually really feel meatier. I think it's just a little better seasoned. It actually still kind of feels pretty it bland in comparison to what I saw people posting. So it's like I breezed through the BB Elite 4. My bad for leading Landorus Garchomp, I guess. Like, I just smoked these fools. But because the battles weren't necessarily too hard, I liked how they changed the trials. That I thought was cool. But the battles weren't too hard. You didn't actually have to fight your way up the BB League to fight them, which I think was a huge missed opportunity, even if they included it after. And then the whole Area Zero thing ended up happening so quickly.
Out of
And
nowhere, yeah.
and it
Let's
seemed
take a
very
quick
rushed.
flight over to Paldea and discover the most important secret 1,000 years has nobody's discovered.
Pick up 3 children to escort us. Like, why it was Carmen and Kieran doesn't make sense. If they were like, let's take kids into Area Zero, then why not take the ones that already had the dangerous excursion there in,
Right.
Your own character, Arvin, Nimona, and Penny? That would have made more sense. Instead, they're like, because Kieran's like, what, 10-year-old sibling crybaby? Why are you like, this is a really dangerous place? You ought to escort you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, I don't know.
He's also kind of mentally struggling right now. Let's take him to a really dangerous place.
Yeah, like, it didn't make sense. And it's Pokemon, whatever. Like, it's not supposed to, but then the whole Area Zero thing, like, I don't know that as much as, like, I have dislikes about the Teal Mask, the Ogerpon fight I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
The Terrapagos one kind of sucked. It was
like a bullet sponge, kind of. Like you know what I mean? Like a raid boss that just wasn't difficult, just had a lot of health, so you just had to keep attacking it.
It just feels like any Terra raid battle that you did in the game, because you just have to hit through the shield. I'm like, I've already done this a million times at this point in the game. And then you catch it, and then that's it. There's still that huge tree in Area Zero that there's nothing with, even though there's like a sprig of herb and mystica on the outside, so that should be something cool. There's nothing there. The whole area is actually pretty, once you realize there's nothing happening. Like, I don't know.
I think one of the biggest downsides to exploring Area Zero on the way down, because I thought that was cool. It's like, wow, this was here the whole time, and we never got to see it. And you can like climb up things and different Pokeballs, and different rewards for trying to expand and trying to find different areas in this underneath spot. The downfall was that there was just like glimmets and like just like hardly any Pokemon down there, and there was no variety down there. Like, it would have been cool if there were other Pokemon like that were down in the beneath Area Zero instead of just like the occasional random useless Pokemon that we already have in the regular Area Zero spot. Like, that would have been interesting if it was like, okay, there's iron bundles and iron treads, and I have Violet. Like, there's all these things up on the top level, but like down here would have been like one of the new paradoxes or something like that. If that's where the legendary story was, or even if you had more paradoxes living in the bottom, like more iron bundles living in the bottom would make more sense. But just like having a random Glimmet here or there, or a Garganackle here or there, it was like you put life into the underneath world, but then it wasn't like valuable or interesting enough to interact with.
Yeah, like, if they don't want to make more regular Paradox Pokemon to put in that underground area, then, like, you know what, fine, I get it. I think they missed an opportunity, but whatever. But at least, like, if they just had none of the regular Pokemon and only had Paradoxes down there, there would have given actual reason to be going back to that area, and would have been super, super cool, But they just, I don't know. I would have loved it if it was only Paradox. It would have been so creepy. It would have been a great place to like hunt. It just could have been so much more.
Yeah, it feels like there was supposed to be more there. Like, just with how big it was, for there to just be one important Pokemon, and then you catch it, and then you never need to go back. Like, it feels like they put a lot of time into that area for it to only need to be visited once.
Especially the tree. I still don't get the tree. But there is the epilogue that's coming out on January 11th. They're actually, and we will not talk about the spoilers about it. There is, I think it has been fully leaked online already for those who are curious about it. But I will not be looking at those. I'll wait till the 11th. So if they don't address that tree, well, I don't even think they'll address the tree because the little trailer the Pokemon channel showed was in Kitakami. And I don't know.
Sierra and her tree. Never gonna get closure.
Dude, they showed they're... No. This is what upsets me, okay? If they don't do anything with this tree. So, they specifically made a big deal of showing that tree in the Indigo disc, the final trailer for the Indigo disc before they released the game. And maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I still don't recall anything that happened with that tree in the Indigo disc. What was the point of showing it? Is it maybe like something down the line? Is it
it's a good
not?
visual.
There is like a cooler looking tree, mind you, in like the new Pokemon Snap where Xerneas is at, and I don't know if there's Pokemon in the game yet.
Yeah.
So like maybe it's like a location set up for like those Pokemon down the line, but I don't know.
Well, so when you get to the Blueberry Academy, right, I think there's some interesting things. I like how the 4 biomes are set up and there's different, you can only catch Rhydons in this spot and you can only catch Smeargles in this spot and whatever. And I like that because it's like you're exploring 4 new routes in one area. That makes it easy to do. So I liked how the setup was of the biomes. I don't know how strongly I can be against the barbecue quests, which is the BBQs, the blueberry quests that they have on the sidebar in the game, because like the effort and the investment it takes to raise your BBQ points to get more points to put into your whatever your club, and they increase your throwing, change your throwing styles, and add all this stuff, and get all the starters and all these things. Like it's just not worth the investment. 10 BP at a time of taking a photo of a Pokemon swimming. It takes 3,000 BP to get one starter to show up in a biome. That I'm not gonna get enough of that. I'm sorry, Incineroar. I guess I can't use it. Like I am not gonna invest myself like that of picking up 10 things in the bottom and like catching a steel set. Like no, I don't want to catch Pokemon more than once than I need to if I'm just trying to fill out my decks going around. So like if I'm in an area where I've caught all the Pokemon there, like I'm not gonna catch the next one for another 10 BP, like just wasting my time.
Let me open your eyes to a brand new world of BBQs. Union Circle, group full of friends. It actually, so first off, when everybody's doing those quests, you earn 4 times as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that also works for when you get your individual, once you complete 10 quests and get your 100 BP. So that happens for also everyone as well. After a certain amount of quests, you get a group one. So it could be, like I was doing BBQs with a couple players last night, and one of them was for 500 BP, take a group photo wearing eyewear. And that was it. We just quickly were like, all right, back to the main circle. We went there, we took the group picture. It took all of 1 minute, and that was 500 BP. So, and I'm also a terrible friend. There was only 3 of us that were doing the BBQs. So we realistically could have gotten 25% more, or almost 50% more, because a really good amount of the time I got bored of the BBQs and I just AFK'd while they collected BP. But I came out of it with like 5,000 BP. And then I just went and I did the item printer. I upgraded it to full and I gambled all the rest of the way. And I'm going to do barbecues after this as well. So if you want to join, you're welcome to.
I was just saying it pays to have friends, because I haven't had any like friends. We tried to coordinate it while in San Antonio, like in the it's like, oh, let's meet the hotel lobby at 10 p.m. We're all gonna do it, but then like just plans went astray, right? As they always do at regional. So like we were ready, like, oh, we're all in the same place. This is gonna make our life so much easier. Can stack up these BPs, and then now I'm just behind the 8 ball because I didn't get to hang out with my friends and and increase it. And it's just like it's so tedious, man. Like the amount of times that this game has unnecessary grinding for the history of Pokemon, not just this game, just like so many times of how much grinding is needed to do certain things. It's like, come on, guys.
No, the BBQs is actually it is so busted. I was even like at first someone was like, "Oh, BBQs, item printer, blah blah blah," and I was like, "No, I want to go ogre ousty and I want to get all this stuff." But after just sitting in a group and farming these BBQs and this item printer, like it is actually so good. I am a resource grinder in the game. Every day I spend 15 to 30 minutes collecting feathers. I am like over 200 of each feather now. I've been doing pretty good for myself while actively using all of my feathers. And I think now I have officially over 700 of every Terra shard. But a lot of it with the Terra shards, because I was sitting at about 400 to 500 of each Terra shard. Some were kind of less. I think this DLC, like the Indigo disc, was fantastic for resource grinding. While you're running around the terrarium, there's items that are just, oh, here's 15 Terra shards. There's one room in the deeper depths of Area 0 that's literally just a bunch of Terra shards. And I don't know if it refreshes, because if it does, that's pretty dope. That was so many. And then the item printer. I want to talk more about, have you been using the item printer?
So I have unlocked the item printer. I paid for it, and I've like given it 2 upgrades or something. Or no, sorry, I should say it the other way around. I have made like 50 items, but I have not been able. I talked to the lady like, can I buy more and get more? And she's like, no, you can't upgrade it yet. So I've not been able to upgrade it, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You literally, there's like a certain threshold. You do have to do a lot of items for it. Like you just keep make sure that you're doing like the group of 10 items.
Yeah,
and then you just keep doing that over and over. She'll tell you when you're okay to upgrade, but you do have to spend quite a bit to like get it there. 100% worth. One of the rolls that I had, I took a picture of this. This was my very first roll of having the maxed out item printer, which I think in total, you pay, I don't know. It's 100% worth it. It is so unbelievably worth it. I gotta find the picture. Okay. This is my very first maxed out roll. ×2 ability patch, 6 nuggets, stellar Terra shards, 2 gold bottle caps, fighting Terra shards, 2 more ability patches, ability capsule, dragon Terra shards. I've rolled 3 of the apricorn Pokeballs at one time. Like, it's actually insane. And remember how I said I was at 400 or 500 for all the Terra shards? I'm almost maxed in every one now, because you can get like 60 Terra shards in one go. Like, it's incredible. Like, it's actually so insane. I think I'm actually pretty and except for the fresh start mochis, because that you specifically have to ogre Oustin, and the feathers that I still have to grind for every day, I am actually maxed out on like all of resources. Like, I don't even want to use the item thing anymore, because I maxed Terra shards. I have 19. I have like 3 ability patches. I have 19 of them now.
And you can sell those for like 125,000 a pop.
And I don't have to, because I'll roll like 10 big nuggets in a roll. Like, it's actually it's so broken. It's so incredibly broken. It's so good.
Yeah, I gotta get there. Yeah.
No, 100%.
I will get there eventually. But what do you think of the actual story elements of the Blueberry Academy, and like Kieran becoming the leader, and Drayden and the other Elite Four members? Like, what do you think of the story of the DLC?
So it's kind of where I thought it was gonna be. Like, they advertised there is this BB Elite Four. Kieran's obviously gone off the deep end. That's kind of about it. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be like he was like the champion, or whether he was just going to be like a straight up villain in the thing. But obviously he was then the champion. That Drayden guy was kind of weird, considering like the first thing he does is like ask you out on a date, and is kind of being
Yeah,
kind of a little weird. I don't know. That
yeah.
was kind of
I thought Drayden was very weird in general because I don't know. Like I play as a girl too, so like I'm like sitting there. I'm like, does he have the exact same dialogue? If it's if you're a guy, or does he like try to switch it up or something? Like, um, and like I don't know what the answer is, but like it just seems like weird and unnecessary for him to try to be like flirting with the foreign exchange student, like regardless of if
accurate though. That do be accurate.
yeah, regardless of yeah, that's what I'm saying. Regardless of if it's accurate or not, like we kind of don't need that in Pokemon. I feel like.
Oh, 100% not. That is just really funny that is pretty life accurate.
Okay, so the one thing I just physically cannot comprehend in the storyline and the disagreements between the Elite Four trainers, and just I fundamentally don't get is the half of them saying that I was not eligible to join the club because I was a foreign exchange student. I just fundamentally cannot understand the concept because if somebody is now attending a new school in real life, it doesn't matter that they are from I don't know, Germany and now live in America, now go to school in Brooklyn and now attend a Brooklyn high school. Like they can still join the Glee Club in the new high school because that's the school that they attend. Like I just couldn't understand. They tried to have so much drama around. I was against you joining because it's against the protocol. But like, what protocol? I'm a student at the school now.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, as much as we say Drayden's weird, he was the best character out of the BB Elite Four because they all
Absolutely,
sucked.
absolutely.
Amari, like it just, yeah, it was weird. It definitely just played it up to being like dramatic or like control freak. Like I guess he did say like going into it, like there was a lot of drama with the club, and a lot of tension since Kieran became champion, and like it made sense of once you go home, like we don't have a champion. Like I get
Okay,
that.
then
Like
beat me. Okay,
I get
like
okay. But where I would like see it is like the exchange student winning like the student council role and then going home. It's kind of like, oh, what good that was that for, you know? But it definitely just seemed a little over dramatic, especially too. Amari's
but it's a
and
merit
the
based thing.
other
It's not
person
a
so sad.
it's not a voting competition. So like I became champion off of merit, off of defeating the other people. It's like there's no reason that there should have been a subplot of am I eligible or not, and we're gonna divide the club over this contentious topic because it doesn't make sense. I'm currently attending the school. I'm currently clapping everybody with Ursaluna Cresselia. Literally every turn, I would lead Jolteon Cresselia, and I would just swap out and Trick Room and get the Flame Orb activate in Trick Room, and then just Earthquake and Lunar Blessing every
Nerd.
turn. It was it was so fun, and obviously the difficulty is on our end because I could play with Dodrio and play with Scrafty and other things that I catch in the terrarium. But I was just trying to get through. I was trying to get to the important stuff like the legendaries and the paradoxes,
Yeah.
and that's why I think I was so interested in Drayden's challenge because one, he's the most try-hard of the Elite Four members, yet he's the one that claims like dirty hacker, like using an unfair Pokemon. Like, but you're the try-hard. Like, shouldn't you be up to the challenge of my foreign Pokemon?
Well, he does let you swap out your team before you challenge him.
Which also makes no sense because if you're gonna commit to the bit, then commit to the bit.
No. That was actually my favorite trial. It was kind of like annoying because it was like, well, shoot, I've been rushing through this with my super stacked team. I've not like I think I had like 4 absolute trash Pokemon that I caught as part of BBQs, and then I just gave them rare experience candies till they were level 100, and I just beat the trainers' butts. But like for people who don't play the game like VGC tryhards, I really did like the concept. I think it was like the concept it wasn't for how I was playing the game. I had mad respect, and I liked that they was like calling out, like, you can't come in here with a strong Pokemon and beat us. Like,
Yeah,
they kind
it
of
was a
trying to like
nice.
immerse you, which I liked.
It was a really nice twist. Like I liked how he did it. I'm just saying because I also, excuse me, one. I don't know the legality of where terror raids exist, but apparently Pokemon you catch in the terrarium from a terror raid are not eligible for this battle. Because I caught a Whimsicott in a terror raid, and then I tried to bring it and said I had an ineligible Pokemon. So I think he's kind of cheating there because the raid took place in the terrarium.
Yeah.
But so then I tried to challenge myself, after I beat the plebs with the all DLC team. I tried to battle him, and it was a really tough. It was a really tough battle. Like I lost a couple of times because I'm using just random Pokemon together where he's just got like this super cracked team, and then his dragon cheering on on his Archaldon,
Super cool
and
move,
like,
by the way.
oh my god, dragon cheer is kind of
Yeah.
hype. Yeah, we could talk about that definitely later, but like I just think if he was gonna be like a stickler for like it was definitely like a joke of like, haha, you thought you could just steamroll through this DLC with your other Pokemon. No, you gotta slow down and use the Pokemon here. Like I just wish he fully committed to that, and then in his actual battle you also had to use the Pokemon.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like that's where people would start to get like antsy with it though, because of the whole it isn't playing the game how they want to play it type thing, because people get like really into like their team and stuff. But like I definitely think that part would have been cool. I think like what I thought was weird was because Amari's is the most like stick up butt
Yeah.
Elite Four. Also the character's just bad. But then like she has this trial of like, let's have your Pokemon fly through the air and do all this fun stuff. Whereas
Yeah, the thing I
Lacey had
associate
the
with
quiz.
steel flying, like
Yeah, and Lacey had like the quiz about Pokemon. What do you mean? Like, I feel like that should have been reversed. Also, I liked Lacey until she was like, "Oh my god, cute Pokemon," and then I was like, "You're cute too," and then she just goes wrong and crosses her arms in an X, and I'm like, "Yo,
really?
okay, yeah."
I must have chosen different dialogue options.
I was like, "What the heck?" Like, all right, my bad, and I just hated her from
I
there.
thought
Like,
we all flirt with each other here at the Blueberry Academy. Sorry.
I like don't even flirt. Like if you ever like just like called your friends cute, you don't call up the homies and say they're
No,
cute.
I
Like
gotta be honest, Sierra. Gotta be honest here for a second. Don't call up the homies and call them cute. Gotta be honest.
you're missing out. But like you call your friends cute. You know what? Fine. But like yeah, she literally in my face wrong. Like I couldn't believe it. I was just like no, I hate her. Also like I think also beyond that she was boring. And then
Yeah.
Crispin was just I don't know.
His challenge was like it was so simple but so confusing at the same time because
They thought mustard is spicy.
well, because sometimes mustard is spicy mustard, right? So that's probably like a translation thing. Was like they could have called it spicy mustard and then people would have known the difference between regular mustard. But even regular mustard has a quote unquote kick to it compared to ketchup or mayo, right? Like you would understand that mustard would be different on your palate than the ketchup and mayo would be in that combination. But like his was weird because like I thought you could just go up to anybody and you fight them and then you get your ingredient, right? And then you can then go make your sandwich. But it was like you can only fight certain people, but then other people have to be traded certain things, and not every item is relevant for you. So like why are you fighting and trading with people that the item is not relevant for the sandwich? Like it was definitely an interesting thing. I no big deal. I did get the sandwich spicy enough on my first try. Don't want to pat myself on the back, but
I liked his trial actually because it was different and it made me like kind of think because
yeah,
sometimes in Pokemon games there's not really enough of that. I lost it on the first time because I didn't put onions or mustard on my sandwich because frankly I'm not a baby. I didn't think either of those were spicy. So yeah, I had to redo it. My bad.
I don't know why spicy onions has anything to do with babies. I don't think babies eat a lot of onions.
I don't. Well, no, I'm just saying. Like they're like, make a spicy sandwich. It's gonna have mustard and onions.
Yeah, if you ever cooked like you can make onions like hot. Yeah.
You can make anything hot if you add some hot sauce to it.
Well, they did have the
But
hot chili sauce.
they did, but like they had like butter. You could have put chilies and butter and made it hot. Like there is jelly. I'm sure you could have done that. Like onions aren't like I don't know. They're not really like they have a very unique flavor. I wouldn't say it's spicy.
I think it's a cultural thing, the Paldean culture of the onions and the onions and the mustard tend to be more spicy than we're used to. I guess not Palde. I guess this one it's Unova, but
So in the
whatever.
States, in the United States, where I've eaten onions and they haven't been spicy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You're going to the wrong spots in New York. You need that spicy onion.
Yeah, I'm missing out. But
Dude, and then the girl with the quizzes, like that one seemed like it didn't seem like a DLC trial. It seemed like a third gym battle trial. You know what I mean? Asking me questions on like where Pikachu's thing was, and like also like I don't know if we have some what's the thing called, the Mandela effect, where we just act like everything was changed from what it was before. But like Snubble is just like, or Snubble and what's his name when it evolves,
Gramble
and Gramble are just like purple now, and we're kind of just acting as if that's how it's always been. Like if you look in the game, Snubble is straight up purple, and what's his face? The evolution on her team is a purple Pokemon. It's not pink anymore.
pretty sure the Snubble was very pink looking.
But the evolution's not. The evolution was purple.
The evolution's always been a light purple.
No, he was pink. He's pink in Go. He's not purple in Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go also has Bulbasaur's base color as green instead of teal.
Okay, but I'm just saying Gramble was not always purple.
It's always been like this, like from my knowledge, it's a very in between purpley pink to where I could totally understand that people would say that it was pink before. I think it's right on the line where you could like debate it either way, and then they probably then in this game put it more towards like it's for certain purple, but it was definitely very like if I looked at a picture of it like by itself, I would say more pink. But then when I look at it next to Snubble, I would say Snubble's
Right.
pink,
And
Gramble's
when
purple.
you look to all the other fairy types that she had, it's like, okay, well, this should be psychic. Why is it not, why is it a fairy if it's not pink? Like, I don't know. That's just me on my old lawn, or on my lawn, saying that back in my day, Gramble was pink.
In my day. Oh,
not
my
purple.
goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with the quiz kind of sucking. Also, like, you could get an answer wrong and it was fine. It was like, where does whatever Venonat, whatever echolocation, I said the antenna because I thought that made sense. They're like, try again. And I clicked the eyes. They're like, yeah, good job. And like, what was the point? This is an Elite Four trial and you're just going to let me get it wrong?
Battle or something, right? Like in Sword and Shield, if you got a quiz wrong, like you'd have a battle for getting the answer wrong. Yeah. Like no, you didn't even have that. It was just like try again until you get it right. It's like what type of challenge is this?
See, I feel like the that super annoying pink I am totally like brain farting. The fairy gym leader in Pokemon Sword and Shield, where she asked questions mid battle, and if you got them wrong,
the old lady,
she would boost her own Pokemon. That I think is a very cool quiz concept that can then also be used as an Elite Four way, because then it actually like the Elite Four like sense, because then it actually makes it more difficult. And it's so she's like, where does Pikachu store its electricity? Teehee. Like, I don't know. Another reason why I hated her. I don't know. She sucks.
She turned down your compliment, and also she was like, she didn't have a good challenge.
Uh-oh, you froze for me.
What? Hello? Do you see me at all?
Okay, yeah, now I do, yeah.
All right, yeah. All good, all good, all good.
Yeah.
We're on opposite ends of the continent right now, so
Yeah. But yeah, no, like she was already like, okay, like, maybe if we're friends and she accepted my compliment, like we'd have been fine, but she was rude, so it's like, you know what, your trial actually did suck. Yeah, like, yeah, you actually were kind of easy to beat.
give her
So
like benefit of the doubt. Like if you saw your friend like leading character in a play, and the play was bad, but like your friends, oh, you did a great job. Like you
yeah.
would have given her benefit.
Yeah, but if like the friend comes out of the play and looks at me and they're like, "Wow, you actually look like trash today, and I hate you," or not actually fair, instead of be like, "Well, actually, let me tell you about your performance," because wrong,
Bit pitchy, if you ask me.
a bit pitchy, yeah, as well as things that rhyme with that. But
I'm trying to think about. Oh my god, what was it? What is her name? I'm blanking on Perrin, the camera girl, because I have not done her quest yet,
me
and
neither.
so I want to know like how far are you on the Pokedex, and like how close are you to completing it?
So I'm 2 Pokemon away from completing it
Oh, I'm so jealous.
because we have some absolute goats in the OHKO server. So shout out Keldeo who touch traded me like 90 Pokemon
Wow.
so I could complete my dex because I wanted to shiny hunt with the Mark Charm. So I just need to get the Violet Paradoxes traded to me for a touch trade, and then I have it completed.
Insane, absolutely insane. Taking advantage of our great community, not like I did that last week to finish the Kitakami decks. I never would.
Hey, I have a couple of reliable friends that I always go to for my Pokedex needs, and they've been busy and haven't played it yet. So, But yeah, shout out Oko Discord, shout out Keldeo. I also see people have been touch trading like the legendaries and stuff to each other too, which is really great community stuff. But
Another ridiculous thing that we need to
no,
get rid
no.
of in Pokemon games is half of the legendaries being a part of half of the other game. Like it's different. It's I can live without an Alolan Golem if I don't want to trade for it, right? I can't live without half of the legendaries. Like I have Violet and I just don't have access to the legendary beasts because they're in Scarlet. Like that's just not it's just straight up not fair. And it's
I
an issue that
do
we've had
agree
for
with that.
generations. I have to play through the entirety of Scarlet, the entirety of Part 1 DLC, and get the, Pokedex and everything like that. So you can't just bum rush through it. You got to complete it all. And then the entirety of Part 2 of the DLC just to get the Suicune and Raikou. Like, no, that's not fair.
No, I 100% agree. I like even like right after the DLC dropped, I had a friend like reach out being like, "Hey, if anybody has like an extra of the Raging Bolt Gouging Fire that they're willing to, sauce you because you're a cool Pokemon person, any chance like I could have a pair because I have Pokemon Violet. So, if anybody
Right.
has an extra pair, but like nobody will because of the whole you actually have to complete everything. Like at least with like Sword and Shield, Isle of Armor, Crown Tundra, you could start a brand new game file and go to those like right away.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate that I have both Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I did already beat Violet a ways back. I just sat there an afternoon and got through it, and I just completed the Kitakami DLC today, so I can get access to both for myself. But not everybody. That's what was it? $60 USD for the main game, then
Right.
times two, so 120 plus what was it? $30 for each DLC.
$30, yeah.
So $180 plus playing through each game, each DLC times two, just for the other two. It actually
Right.
does suck.
Like, if you want to have it, like, if they truly want to be annoying about it with the version exclusives because they're so synonymous now, and you want Latios and Latias to be split, and then maybe, like, I don't know, Kyogre and Groudon or something. I'll give you 2 legendary pairs. But to have 13 in each game, it's like you can't. it's like unacceptable. I'm sorry. Like, you should have 2 legendaries, and I have one friend that has Latias and I have Latios, and we just trade for half a second and trade each other back. Like, I have to coordinate a whole thing of 13 Pokemon to trade over? Like, no, that's crazy.
I know, like, this doesn't realistically, like, make sense for the games, because, like, the whole lore thing for a lot of these is that there's only the one Pokemon in our timeline.
Right.
But I liked what they did with Koraidon and Miraidon, where you could catch a second one. Of course, it was written in the story that there was 2, because despite them being legendaries in our timeline, like in the past or the future, like there's more of them. But you could catch another one, so you could trade it, like if you wanted, to a friend. So you have yours, and then if you have Scarlet, you can trade your Koraidon for a Miraidon, so you both get a copy of each Pokemon. Because as it stands, if I only had Scarlet, I'm not trading my Raging Bolt and Gouging Fire. Like, I like them.
Right.
I want them. Like,
I'm going to need them for VGC.
Yeah, even if I didn't care for them whatsoever, they're the legendaries, and if I only have one of it, I'm not going to trade it. So if they had it, even like those paradoxes, they could have made an excuse to give you 2 of them, because it does fit in the whole, well, Koraidon, Miraidon, bringing them from the past type thing. So
yeah, this is just like this legendary system, especially with how expensive the snacks are. Apparently, like they get higher and higher, and only half of them are available. Like, it's just a major downgrade from the what was it, the max raid dens in the Crown Tundra DLC for Sword and Shield. Just a major downgrade.
You know what as well? Okay, so going back to the, like, lore-wise, it's only one, but and this is a big gameplay spoiler, it's the very ending, so if you came back, you're like, oh, this isn't too bad, watch out, this is about to be one. But when you go to the Crystal Pool, and you talk to Sada or Toro, after they come back from the past or the future, and they explain that as well, like they're not sure if they're from your timeline, etc. That is just right there the perfect way to explain how we could get multiple of same legendaries.
Absolutely.
So you could actually catch more than one, because you could just say, like, oh, one Groudon's from this timeline, one's from a different one. So it actually then gives lore reasoning on why you can have multiple of the same legendary and have opportunities to catch, like, a couple of them in a game, so you can actually trade them.
And even specifically, like, if they don't want to do the other game's legendaries, since they're Professor's not able to control that, like, they're like the Paradox legendaries, like they're 590 BST, right, instead of 600, so they're not the sub legendary threshold that Landorus and the other ones are. So, like, why can I catch infinite Fluttermanes, but I can only catch one Walking Wake, and it's on Christmas in a raid, right? And the same with Iron Leaves, but then I got the story quest for the fire, whatever Entei's name is. I'm forgetting his name right now. Like,
Gouging Fire.
Gouging Fire.
Bad name, but whatever.
Well, it's no Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is awesome. That's a sick name.
Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, Gouging Fire. Whatever. Keep going.
So, like, because they're not the sub legendary or legendary threshold, but by BST standards, like, I should be able to catch 15 Walking Wakes. There's no reason that we can only get one, and it's on Christmas if you didn't catch it, 6 months ago.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, like, they down the line, they actually allow opportunities, like, more often for them to come up. So, like, maybe later January have a Gouging Fire, whatever Violet one, and then in later February have, like, the 2 others, and then in, like, March, April have an event that has all 3 of them, or something like that, so you can actually continue to get more and more if that's how they want to be marketing, like, their raids and stuff. I do think realistically, probably with feedback as well, and just the fact that they do want to keep some things for raids so they can have longevity to the game, right? People actually still play because they want to get the exclusive thing, that they will bring out all of them for the raids more often. It's just kind of sucks for the right now.
Well, it still doesn't fix the issue that you can only catch one. So if you already caught Walking Wake, if you do this new upcoming raid, you're just going to get, rewards. Like you only catch
Oh
one
wait, I can't get a
Palkia.
second Walking Wake?
Correct. Just like you only catch one Palkia and one Dialga.
But we've only had the Palkia Dialga thing once, so that made sense. But you're really going to send out a second Walking Wake raid and not let me catch a second Walking Wake?
Well, so it's not right. It's not for you theoretically that's already caught it. It's for people who've not had the opportunity to catch it because they started playing or were not able to catch it during its initial raid run. And that's why it's frustrating because it doesn't, because they've done reruns of like the 7-star raids. So like if you caught a 7-star Pokemon and you did a rerun of it, you can't re-catch it.
Yeah.
So it's just how they use their Scarlet and Violet system is with raids.
I just assumed that if last time they had the raid was months ago and they're redoing a raid, that it was like, here's an opportunity to get another one, or if you missed out on it. But my letter to Pokemon, because honestly, I think that is I don't know. That's dumb. Like
it's frustrating. Yeah, for sure. The way that legendaries and we can count the legendary paradoxes as legendaries, since that's how they're treating them, is very, very frustrating how it was done this generation. There's no way around it.
All right. I'm returning to this conversation in 6 months, and if they have not fixed it, I'm going to have words.
That was the other thing I wanted to say, because people are like wondering if Iron Leaves and Walking Wake are going to be legal because it's only through the raid. And like, oh, what about distribution and blah blah. It's like, do you not remember the last 6 months of VGC that we played, where the only way to play the format competitively was to purchase Sword and Shield and buy and get all the legendary sets? So like, you're gonna complain about like ease of accessibility and distribution of Pokemon? Like, I think we're gonna be fine. Like, I don't think Game Freak is concerned about accessibility.
So the counter that I would have to that is, because realistically, yes, but for one of them is, regardless of the fact that it's behind a paywall and a lot of time, if you did not have, they did include Kubfu in the DLC, so you can get one. But let's say they didn't, right? And the only way that you could get it was with the Isle of Armor through Sword and Shield. As of right now, if you wanted to get an Urshifu, you can still head down to GameStop, go to the eStore, buy a copy of Pokemon Sword and Shield, buy the DLC, play through it, and get it. Is it fair that is the only way to access it before they included it in DLC? Absolutely not. But it was still always a route to get it. Whereas like the Walking Wake Iron Leaves, if you miss the raid, you're technically like, unless you get it from somebody, like you don't have options. You can't take your butt down to GameStop and buy yourself one, right? So that's kind of like the main difference to where I see why people are questioning the legality, just because it's not like it's locked behind a paywall. Once it's gone type thing. So that'll be interesting. I'm just curious if them running it the second time is like, we're actually going to make it legal and you kind of missed out, but I could understand like the concerns.
Yeah, I think them running it again was like, all right, now people can't complain because we're doing it literally the week after the DLC launches, so people are still playing the game. It's not like going to be a random Wednesday 2 months after when no one's playing, right? And maybe I wasn't checking out Cerebi and I didn't know the upcoming raid schedule was going to be. So like, everybody is very hot on this. You're already going to be doing raids anyway because of the Delibird raids and the 7-star Iron Bundle raid. Like, it's like a very raid heavy time with Christmas and with the DLC and new players getting the games at Christmas as well, right? So
yeah,
that's definitely an intention on there. And is like, if you want to use Walking Wake and VGC, like, you better do it this weekend or next weekend.
Well, I got my Walking Wake. I do need to get an Iron Leaf. So
I need to get Iron Leaf still. I have not caught him yet.
I just didn't care enough, honestly. I was like,
no, I tried to. It's just it's tough typing, which a lot of these raids are. Like the Dialga raid I just did earlier with Jake and Defai, and like, it's massively more difficult than Palkia. Palkia, we sat there with our Azumarill and clicked play rough until it went down. But the Dialga raid had Steel Beam and like all these other things that were like, you can't terrestrialize into a Mono Fairy because then you just get one shot by Steel Beam. So I think the Iron Leaves, for me personally, was more difficult when I was just playing with randos on the internet, and I just never was able to complete it. But Walking Wake, I got first try with the Azumarill.
I already asked the peeps if I can include you in on group barbecues. I'm gonna ask for like group raids as well, because like it was so easy.
We need
honestly,
group
like
raids.
we rolled up with 1 Grimmsnarl and 3 Fluttermanes for both of the raids, and just went,
Oh.
all right, Specs Moonblast, all right, done. I don't really care, and like it was fine. Like we had hired, like it was fine. Like we had high special defense. Like I don't know, it was good, and Grimmsnarl setting stuff up, like.
Friendship pays. Friendship pays off, you know?
Yeah, we were vibing. So it was, both of them were super, super easy.
Must be nice to have friends, you know? Can't relate.
All right. Well, they're not playing barbecues right now, but I'll invite you to a chat where they might do barbecues. So.
Thank you.
So there's that. I
gotta catch up. I need like 8 gajillion points to get the starters to spawn in the biomes. Because that's what we all care about, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I only got the one that Litten can spawn in, because I do want to try and get a shiny
that's
Incineroar.
The most important one. Yeah, for sure.
But then I delayed the hunt because I wanted to get the Mark Charm, because if I'm hunting anyways, like I might as well spend the extra day, get the Pokedex, and then have the increased Mark chance. So, but now I'm the 2 Pokemon away, so that's probably what I'll do with my night tonight.
Well, and you can't get shiny legendaries because they're all shiny locked. So maybe you can mark your legendaries. That thing?
I don't think you can mark static encounters.
I just have no idea.
Okay. I don't think so, because you couldn't with the Treasures of Ruin. Also, stop shiny locking legends just so you can give them to us in a GameStop code in 6 months. Gosh, stop it. I thought they were super cool for giving us a shiny Lucario and a Darkrai out of the blue.
Right.
It was just so we wouldn't get mad that they shiny locked all the legends.
It's also funny because it's not like all 25 of these legendaries, or whatever the number is, are going to be GameStop gift codes. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe if they only did, like, I don't know, just the new, like, Legendary Beast Paradox trio was shiny locked, and then just those 3 would be the gift codes that they give away as shinies. But, like, why is Kyogre shiny locked? It's been around for 20 years. Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
Go ahead and shiny lock the ones that you haven't given out yet. Like, okay, with the Treasures of Ruin, sure. Was I a little annoyed? Yes, but whatever. That's the standard nowadays. Shiny lock the Kubfu because that actually hasn't been available as a shiny yet. Fine, whatever. Something like Suicune and Entei, like Ho-Oh, like all these other ones, like the Lotties. Yeah, if we've had access to soft resetting in the past, it's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna boot my copy of Oras, and I'm just gonna shiny hunt the stuff.
Can you bring a shiny Latios from Oras into home and then into the game?
Yeah.
So why are you shiny locking the game if the code allows you to have shiny versions in the game?
Exactly, especially now too. Like, well, they still had like Pokemon Transporter and Pokemon Bank and all of that accessible. Then it's like, okay, we'll just make somebody buy oodles and oodles of money for an old system, and then the game, and then like move it up through all the things. But they've discontinued Bank and Transporter, so for a lot of people, like they're kind of cooked. Or like even if you want to hunt on a older game, like I went and downloaded like Crystal and like the older games and stuff on my DS before like the eShop closed, but like that's a route kind of gone to people. So it becomes more and more complicated, more and more convoluted, and they could have just let us, like, I don't know. Why don't you want more playability in your games? Either someone who's going to catch the legendary and be content, or somebody is going to spend an extra 100 hours in your game to soft reset the same spot that is not accessible to them until after they start playing your DLC anyways. I understand why they shiny locked starters. Why are we shiny locking an end game thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, you and I are at opposite ends, right? Like, I'm just catching it once to get it over with, and you're aesthetically trying to get the shiny version of it. So theoretically, I'm the only version that's being appealed to right now. Like, I just want to catch Latios, I just want to catch Entei, I just want to catch Ho-Oh, like, and you're like, no, I want to sit there and get the shiny version of it. So you're not being catered to right now.
Yeah, and it's like, it goes back to, It's people playing your game for longer. Like, isn't it the whole thing that people who make games are trying to figure out how to keep people retained on
Yeah.
their game? That's why we have the ever-changing raids and all of this other stuff. Let me shiny hunt my dang legendaries. I will open your game every day looking for the legendary, and maybe it takes me 30 days. So that's going to be 30 days that I'm opening up your game to try and catch this thing. Like I said, yet again, I understand they shiny locking the starters because then it's people aren't playing your game. They're stuck at the beginning. But like at this point in the game, just let me do what I want. It's when it's already available.
So, what is your method for getting shiny Incineroar? Are you just doing the biome, make a sandwich, and try to get it, or are you going to breed it down?
Another reason I wish the legends and stuff weren't locked. I hate breeding. Not that it matters with the legends, but like I'd much rather soft resets than and like get cool things rather than eggs. So I did try for a shiny Charmander a while back, and I cracked open like 800 eggs, didn't get it. I hate the eggs. I hate them so much. So I did pay the 3,000 for the biome that the Litten is in, and there's actually a really good cliff spot where if you do a fire encounter sandwich, Litten is the only thing that spawns. So,
oh wow, okay, that's really good then.
Yeah, so it should be a pretty easy hunt, especially too. Eggs suck on the fact that you can't get marks. Like, why am I going to do a method that sucks and is not fun, that doesn't give me marks and whatever, when I can just make the sandwich, have a lot more fun, and potentially get a really cool mark on the Pokemon? They should have like an exclusive mark that you get from hatching eggs. They should. I don't know what it'd be.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not a mark person.
The excellent.
Excellent.
That would be a sick mark. Pokemon, hire me! Hire me! I was so good at this! Spends 20 minutes trashing on a decision and then just go, I'm so good at this!
They're like, in retrospect, we were gonna fire her, but she got some good ideas. Let's hire her.
Yo, you know what the other fire idea would be? Which I saw this as like a leak a couple gens back, and it never actually happened because most leaks are fake. But a next step shiny, like a super shiny.
No.
And no. But like it was actually, and like they could even just like generate it so it's just like it could be literally just any color. But I was running into a cave, and with the lighting, it made the Galarian Slowpoke look like it was green. And like my heart for a second was like, oh my god. Like it was just so cool, you know? So I just think that would be cool.
I don't know. I think they should fix bad shinies before they make alternate shinies.
But that is fixing bad shinies because now if there's a bad shiny, there's an alternative.
Leave Coolin, leave Incineroars himself. Don't give him two versions, but like fix Garchomp, fix Gengar, fix Charcadet and Armarouge and Indeedee, or not Indeedee, what's face? Armarouge and Ceruledge, like fix those first, and then make your alternate versions.
Or even like, okay, so they should still fix them, but like instead of having a shiny be like a completely different color, you could have like different hues, like different, not different hues, but like lighter or darker depending. So like let's say Trico's like a nice teal. You could have it so it could either be like a little bit of a darker teal, a little bit of a lighter teal. They can even do that with base Pokemon colors, which would be super, super cool. Kind of like the size thing. So it's still like the same color, but it's just, it makes each one a little bit more personalized. That could be cool.
I can't even imagine what Twitch would be if they did that, because you'd be shiny hunting and size hunting and mark hunting all at the same. It's like, oh, I want an XXL, alternate shiny with this specific mark, and I'm going to sit here for 900 hours until I get it.
Yeah, it would be sick. That's content for the shiny hunters out there.
That's one word for it. Yeah,
that's some content. Nah, I think that would be so cool, because then it's like, oh, I have this shiny. They're like, oh, yo, I have this like, whatever, like light shiny, and you're just like, oh shoot. Like they've shown before that they're willing to kind of do a little bit of variation, like Sword and Shield, and they got rid of it for Scarlet and Violet. They had the the alternate shiny pattern that was in like the 1 in 25, and it was just flipped whether it was an egg or a caught in the wild.
Yeah.
So that was already really cool, you know? Like I hatched an egg that was like perfect IVs, 0 attack, proper nature, shiny with the 1 in 25 shiny pattern,
Oh,
and it was the
wow.
coolest thing, right? That was sick. So yeah,
You hit the lottery there.
yeah, it was so cool. So why don't we'll just give more opportunities? I don't know.
All right.
It'd be
Well,
good.
I would say we've had a pretty good discussion on the DLC from a casual perspective. I think it's about time we get into the analytical sense
The competitive
on
parts.
VGC.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you
So
get into it.
okay, I thought you were like saying that because you
No,
were
I
going
just
to
wanted to do
intro
this.
it.
I just wanted to do the segue to get us into the next one.
Okay. So I will pick up the segue. Cool. But yeah, so talking about competitive, obviously this DLC offers quite a bit. We're getting all of the starters returning and quite a few Pokemon that are quite VGC viable, things like Whimsicott, Metagross, etc. So to start off, because I think going over everything is kind of a little bit much, but because I know we have both prepped 4 Pokemon that we are excited about in Regulation F, as well as just like the DLC and stuff going forward. So that'd be a good way to start talking about some of the Pokemon.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be brand new Pokemon to the Scarlet and Violet DLC. It's just we worked on 4 Regulation F Pokemon that we're excited to use or excited to see on stream or excited that it will do well, hopefully perform well in VGC. And the reason we didn't tell each other because we wanted to see if we'd have any crossover of like the number 1 Pokemon we're most excited to see come back to VGC. So I'll give you the floor because it was my idea. So I'll let you go first. Let you have the advantage.
Okay. Well, I feel like the first one I'm going to say, there's a very high chance. This is the only one that I think is going to be shared on the list, but I put Raging Bolt is number 1. First off, its stats are better than kind of people originally thought. Its special attack's actually pretty bonkers.
Stronger than Fluttermane.
Yes. Its defense and special defense kind of suck, but like I don't know. The thing looks super cool, so I was already just excited to use it for like those reasons. But I don't know. I think it could be quite an interesting Pokemon, especially too. Like if you have it on a team, like with Sun, get the boost, like the damage that you'd be able to do would just be incredible.
Well, you don't even need to have it on a Sun team because you can just give it booster energy. With
I want to give it 2 items.
Okay, booster. You want Sun and Choice Specs or something like that. But
that'd be sick though.
Imagine. Yeah, I'm very excited for Raging Bolt. I think it is. What's so cool about it is it's the anti-Torn Urshi Pokemon we've been waiting 6 months for that literally walls both of them. It resists water and it resists flying as a dragon electric typing, right? So I think those 2 Pokemon aren't going to go anywhere. They'll still be prominent, but like in the 1v1 or the 2v1, like you can actually do well with Raging Bolt, and like especially because I've been playing online, Scarf for Shifu just absolutely dumpstered by Raging Bolt because of Thunderclap. The regular one is fine because you can go for close combat, you can change your moves, and that's a neutral hit into it. But like if you are scarfed into Surging Strikes, the Thunderclap is just beautiful because it's, for those who don't know, it is the new electric special attack that has the same property as Sucker Punch, where if your target clicked an attack, your attack will go first, and obviously electric super effective into water. So it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's honestly. It's a pretty cute Pokemon. You can also take advantage of Dragon Cheer because it is a Dragon type, so you get that increased critical. I don't know how competitive that'll be, but I just think it's funny. The only thing I'm sad about is it is one of only 3 Pokemon that has access to one of 3 that has access to Dragon Hammer, which looks really cool, but it's a physical move and its physical attack sucks, so that'll never actually matter. But it gets actually a pretty strong move pool. Like, it has strong coverage in both of its types. You're even going to get words are hard. You have T-Bolt, so you have 100% accurate. You have Dragon Pulse, 85% accurate. Like, you actually get some good move options on it. So I like it. It is a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. If anyone saw Jody's tweet, he made a tier list of the Regulation F Pokemon he thinks are gonna do well, and number 1 was Incineroar, obviously, but then the next 2 on that list were Raging Bolt, and it's either Archaludon or Archaludon. Waiting on official pronunciation to know what Duraludon's evolution is, how we pronounce that first part of its name, but that was the other.
Archaludon. I'm always wrong.
I think it's arch, right? Because it's like a bridge, like an archway, but I don't know.
That would make sense, but all right. So Raging Bolt. What did you have next?
That's your most anticipated Pokemon, right? For Regulation F. Mine is an oldie but a goodie, Sierra, because we're bringing back the little cotton Pokemon that everybody knows and loves, and that is Whimsicott. I've been a big Whimsicott fan ever since Black and White came out. I just always thought it was a cute Pokemon before I even played VGC. It's definitely my favorite Unova Pokemon, just both competitively and in general. In singles, like draft leagues, I've used Whimsicott many times with like substitute Leech Seed leftovers and Giga Drain and stuff. Like it's just truly one of my favorite Pokemon, and I love when Whimsicott is viable in VGC because it doesn't look like it should, right? Like you see later, and you're like, I can see why this guy is just one-shotting everything, but I can see why he's viable. I see why Incineroar visually is a dominant Pokemon, but Whimsicott's just like hanging and having fun with everybody. And what I love about Whimsicott is it is a faster prankster than Tornadus. So even though you theoretically, quote unquote, lose to Tornadus because you're weak to Bleakwind Storm, your faster prankster Taunt will stop Tornadus Tailwind every time, unless they, have the Clover Cloak or whatever. So, or Terra Dark, I guess, would be another way around it, which might be an interesting tech. But so it's like the anti-Tornadus prankster Pokemon, and it just has so much great stuff like Taunt, Fake Tears, Sunny Day for your Protosynthesis Mons. Like I fully expect that we'll have a couple Whimsicotts in Top Cut in Portland. I would wager.
Yeah, I feel like that is maybe the most safe assumption out there. I'm not gonna lie. I have that as like a serious option on that list for my one trolley answer that I put down, but I think always having more of those types of users in the format's really good. Obviously, before Tornadus was around, people were deep diving for things like Murkrow and stuff to be kind of fulfilling the Tailwind Prankster role, which was funny to go up against because Murkrow kind of mid. But if you wanted to all of a sudden get a priority Tailwind, have these priority options, then that kind of limited things. So that's a good time. I'm a fan of Whimsicott. So all right. Do you want my actually probably will be VGC viable option next, or the one that is just like a core like want, but it's not? It's
No, it's whatever you're the most excited for. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a meta defining Pokemon. It's like what are the Pokemon you're excited to see or use or whatever. Regulation F.
So it's not going to be used, but I love Sceptile. Sceptile was the very first Pokemon that I tried to build around after I watched Seijin Park's Pachirisu run. And when I was trying to teach myself the game, it's when I still had Mega. I did a very bad job at teaching myself the game. It was not good.
Well, you chose a bad Pokemon, but yeah.
I did. Well, it was play with your, when was your favorites, right? But yeah, it was not good. It got access to Shedtail, funny enough, which I think is kind of cute. The one thing that kind of really sucks is I wish Sceptile in its evolution was a straight grass dragon type. It wasn't just a straight grass type, and that you didn't have to mega it for the grass dragon. Because some of the dragon coverage it gets do be kind of cute, but unfortunately, I just think a straight grass type is not fun. I think with looking at something like
Like with the dragon
Terra.
cheer you're talking about, like how it has dragon
Yeah.
cheer now.
Yeah, like that would have been funny, you know what I mean? But you can't get that. But I am curious with Shed Tail about how that could be used to like kind of set up, because you do get really good setup moves on Sceptile as well that maybe aren't the best for itself, but could really enable something else if you get a free turn. Like you get the stuff like Sword Stance and etc. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be a fun setup. I think their thing did the thing again. There you are. Okay.
There we
I
are.
was like, they
I
like
had,
cut out for a second. Yeah.
I had you. You're good. You're good. Don't worry. So
You left after me like trying to talk about Sceptile. I understand.
no, we're all good on the recording. So you know the Riverside's putting in extra overtime since we're so far away, but yeah, I
Oh
think
wait, Shedtail doesn't work like a baton pass. Oh, maybe.
yeah, you don't need to keep the stats, but you can keep the 50% substitute or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's the benefit of it, is it's the stronger substitute, you know?
Oh well, I'm significantly less excited. I thought it was okay. When was the last time I used Shedtail? I saw someone use an Earthworm like Reg 1,
right.
You know?
Well, I think you're bummed that it's not Dragon type. I actually think that helps Sceptile as just a mono grass, because if you were a Dragon type, you'd be less incentivized to put another Dragon type next to it to Dragon cheer, because Flood and Main would just dunk both of you. So now you actually have some different typing, and then of course like the Game Freak balance wise, they wouldn't want to make one of their starters Fire Dragon, because then it's no longer weak to, Grass Dragon, because it's no longer weak to fire.
Yeah.
You know, the Fire Water Grass core. So I would be very excited to see if because it's got like 130 speed, so it's like an incredibly fast Pokemon. If you can put it next to like how Drayden has it next to Kingdra, right? And Kingdra, he goes Rain Dance and Dragon Cheer on the same turn, and then you just always have the guaranteed critical hits and stuff. So that could be interesting if there's like some dragon that can take advantage of Dragon Cheer, maybe like Hydreigon and the first regulation of Scarlet and Violet would have loved having Dragon Cheer available. So
yeah, it's definitely looking at its move pool. Like I don't know, Sceptile needs some help out there. I'm not gonna lie, but being able to Dragon Cheer up, I think would be, I don't know. It could be funny. You Dragon Cheer, you Sceptile out, set up something else that could be like sitting next to your Dragon Cheery.
Like Dragon Cheer, the was he something fire, gauging fire? What's his name again? The new
gouging fire.
Yeah, like Dragon Cheer next to gouging fire. That'd be kind of hype.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be one of those teams that I hear Astro go to, like, build me a Sceptile team, Plus I have my shiny Trico in Oras that I soft resetted for.
There you go.
Yeah, so he's a cool little Trico. So
Sierra's bringing Sceptile to Portland. Confirmed.
No, wait till you.
You're busy bringing Meganium. I'm getting that that sweet 10K from Jody.
We'll get there. All right, what's your next one?
All right, my next one is the water spider Pokemon from Generation 7, Araquanid. And I'm very excited to see if this Pokemon will perform well, because you might not be as well versed in its history in VGC, since it truly only had one great season in the base Sun and Moon year for 2017. But when I was doing a lot of research and on the history of the game and like seeing old regionals and performances and stuff, I think Araquanid won, I want to say 5 or 6 regionals in 2017, like in that season, which is like half the format, right?
Yeah.
And it was a really dominant Pokemon. It's really slow, so you want to put it on a Trick Room team. Water Bubble is a great ability, and it always had Waterium Z, or Hydro Vortex, as its attack, which the downside was like you only got one super strong attack. Now you can just Terastallize, and you essentially get a Hydro Vortex for free every single game, as many times as Araquanid is able to stay on the field. It also is it's not Tornadus because weak to Bleakwind Storm, but it's an Urshifu counter. As a water bug type, you resist both of his stabs. I think if I'm trying out some sets. I know like Jake and I in San Antonio spent some time trying to figure out the optimal way to play Arachnid. We're gonna keep working on it, but like I think Clear Amulet's probably the best way to go about it because like it's really hard for a sweeper to just live at -1 attack every game because Incineroar is on every team. Like even if it is super effective, it still is kind of rough.
Yeah. Arachnid is a cool shiny, so that would be cool if it's actually competitively good. I also feel like it might do better in a non-Dynamax format, because that's
True.
the only time I did get to see it kind of exist, and it was definitely, like, I didn't enjoy going up against it, but it also wasn't too scary.
I might have lost you here, Sierra.
No,
you're good.
Okay,
So,
okay,
you were talking about Dynamax. Go ahead.
You know, I'm at my parents right now because it's going to be Christmas break. Hence why my audio is different. I'm gonna have to tell them to invest in better internet. Jeez. But nah, Arachnid, that'd be a cool shiny. I'd be down with that.
What's your third?
Mine is Venusaur.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because first, you don't have to worry about it getting bopped in a Dynamax format. Though I do think that Venusaur was you could Dynamax that way and go off. But no, I think Venusaur, I mean, Sun, you could do the sleep powder, being able to have the strong, I think like grass and poison type attacks, I think are going to be like just fine. And I really like Bulbasaur and Venusaur, so that's, yeah, you can tell I definitely have like a trend with like picking Pokemon that I definitely
with your grass
so
types here.
Yeah, grass do be like my favorite type, but I don't know, Venusaur's cool. He's cool looking, and I think it'd be fun to try, you know?
It's definitely the most reliable sleep powder spammer out there, right? Like compared to Hisui and Lilligant and some of the other options, like that poison typing does help it out a lot.
Yeah, you have like good like potential with your attacks too, as well as the sleep powder, so it's I kind of enjoy that because the other sleep powder options, like, I just wasn't necessarily too impressed by them. I don't think anyone was. You kind of do what you can, but that's kind of it. So, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting. So,
okay. I think there's definitely a world for it, especially since we're going to Portland, right? I'm sure Joe Ugarte's got some stuff up his sleeve with some sun in Portland, but my third most anticipated Pokemon is a new Pokemon. Finally, I got a new one out there in Archaludon because I've been testing it. I think there's a lot of different ways. Its move coverage is actually insane. I'm not even using that busted new electric attack that it has in the in the DLC. That in the rain, it's supposed to be a 2-turn attack, but in the rain, it takes 1 turn and raises your special attack. But it's an electric type, so I'm not getting stab out of it. But Archaludon has really great stats. It's like only bad-ish stat is its special defense, and that's why Assault Vest is like the best item for it. 1, because there's so many great moves you want to use for it, but then 2, because you're patching up your 1 weakness of your special defense stat. Steel Dragon is a great typing because you're only weak to fighting and ground, so you only have 2 weaknesses. They're obviously common. They're common types, but they're very easy to play around. And I've actually been doing this. I posted in our OHKO Discord. I posted a Whimsicott Terrakion beat up team, right? And you beat up Justified. You hit it 4 times. You got +4 attack Terrakion with Rock Slide and stuff. And then I was like, I need a 6-mon. I was like, wait a second, Archaludon gets stamina, and I give it Assault Vest. And like there was one turn where I swapped in Archaludon into a fake out and clicked beat up with it, so it was +5 defense like on the switch in, and I have body press as the 4th move. So just hit. So like it's a really good. I think it's a really good Pokemon with a lot of great potential. It's one of the only Pokemon that I think actually is kind of viable using that new stellar typing, which we haven't even talked about, but
Oh my god, yeah.
kind of an underwhelming mechanic for how much they built it up.
Yes.
And Archaludon is one of the only Pokemon that actually is kind of viable with the Stellar Terra.
Yeah. Well, do we want to like sidetrack into the stellar? I don't think we'll be talking much about it.
I think we save stellar typing or stellar Terra for another day because we've been going on for a bit here. We still got San Antonio to talk about.
Does it really take too long to say that the Terra type sucks? Like it's like I just like it's just not good. But whatever. Okay. Yeah, we can get into that another time. But my fourth and final pick for the 4 Pokemon is here to let you know, good luck, have fun to all of my opponents at Portland Regionals, as I will bring bringing Meganium so that Jody Azarelli has to pay me $10K when I win. So
wow.
Yeah, so here's why Meganium could be the Pokemon for you. It boasts a fantastic 525 base stat total, with majority of it being in defense and special defense at 100 each. Wow, so cool. It has 5 different Pokemon, 5 different types that it's weak to, being a grass type, including the very obscure flying, poison, bug, fire, and ice types. Absolutely fantastic, with no immunities. As well, you can set up here's the set. You have Substitute. You have Leech Seed. Maybe Protect. And, whatever. You're not going to be clicking the 4th move anyways, so do what you want. Giga Drain, so you can just be gaining health back. Throw Leftovers on there. Then you can have a Sunsetter on your team, something that can actually be dealing damage, and you can be activating then your Leaf Guard, which makes it so in the sunlight, you do not get afflicted by any status conditions whatsoever. And then if they're trying to take care of the Meganium, they're not KOing your other Pokemon. All of a sudden, if they're trying to KO your Meganium, the other Pokemon, just gets to go off. If they're busy attacking into Meganium, your Torkoal can just press Eruption and just style on them. So, yeah. It's pretty lit.
What a strat. I think Jody needs to pick up a part-time job because he's going to have to get that 10K.
Man's about to be in debt after Portland. Yeah.
Oh man, I like that you chose 3 grass starter types for your 4 Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, right? I had to include Meganium for the meme. I put down my notes say Meganium LOL, real answer Whimsicott. But I already agreed when you talked about Whimsicott. That's just a solid Pokemon coming back in that fills a very common role that is needed in the game, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Also, before anyone's like, why didn't you guys say Incineroar? We did agree beforehand that we weren't going to say Incineroar. I think that we forgot to mention that, but we did say that to each other. Incineroar is obviously going to be everywhere.
Plus, also, it's what we're excited to see. Are we necessarily excited to see Incineroar?
I kind of
coming back.
I right away started learning the game with Incineroar, and I slow kind of balanced teams. So I kind of like that setup that Incineroar allows you to play. Incineroar Meganium about to go nuts.
It's going to be on every one of my teams. I'm just saying, it's not my most anticipated or excited Pokemon in my list. Yeah. And so my last Pokemon is also regarding Jody's tier list. It was a Pokemon that I actually had not tested out yet. And I'm excited to try after talking with Jody and Nora in the replies, and that's Latias. So Latias has Levitate. So I was playing on Showdown the other day, and I was playing with that Whimsicott, beat up tracking or beat up our Archaludon team. I was having fun, and then I played Lorcy in his stream. I played him in a best of 3, and he had Lando Eye. And Lando Eye just dumpstered my team. It's just really strong. And I was like, man, all right, that's tough matchup, whatever. And then I keep playing on Showdown. And another Landorus Incarnate. And another Landorus Incarnate. And I'm like, man, this Lando Eye might make the graphic at Portland. I think it's that strong of a Pokemon in this format right now, just from my testing and from watching streams and stuff, that it is really that good right now. And so you have the Levitate for that. You have a psychic attack for the Terra Poison, which all the Landos are Terra Poison, right? To resist Fluttermane and stuff. And it's a Tailwind setter. It's a bulky Tailwind setter with Recover, with Draco. And then the set that I saw that Nora suggested was Terra Poison Rocky Helmet on Latias with Tailwind, Mistball, Draco, and Recover. And so I'm really excited to see this work because I've always liked Latios and Latias. Like I even used the Megas back in the ORAS days competitively. So I'd love to see, like, obviously you would say, wow, why would you use the Latias that just died of Fluttermane? Like, both in the Dragon and the Psychic typing. But since you can Terrestrialize out of it, who knows? Maybe it might be viable.
I feel like the last few months has especially been it doesn't matter if you die to Flutter because first off, just kill the Flutter. So all right, it's not that hard. But second, because of terrestrialization. So yeah, it could be interesting. So you definitely had a little bit more serious answers than I am. But I've been sitting here just half listening, half planning out my Meganium team. Like what I'm gonna build in Showdown after this. So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm thinking of what Terra type I want for it. That'll be it. But I'll save that for the end of the podcast because we do still have a little bit more to be talking about. Going back last weekend to the event that you got to attend, which was San Antonio.
Oh yeah. So let me just get that set up. But I can confidently say, well, obviously I already said we missed you, Sierra, but I can confidently say San Antonio was by far one of the best and my favorite regionals of the calendar year. Like when we started San Diego back in January. That feels like forever ago. Jesus, 12 months. Right. 12 months has been, it's been going on. So from San Diego all the way through here to San Antonio, like honestly, it's a great city. It was smart of us to come in December because it was 65 degrees, so you don't have to deal with Texas at 110 degrees, right? It was really nice. Every person, like every Uber rider, every person you interacted with on the street, we were all having fun. They were all in the holiday spirit. They have the underneath the city, like the river walk with the boats and a lot of restaurants down beneath the main level of the city. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you've been to San Antonio or not, but like, I can't recommend it enough. I don't know if this was just a one-off thing. Like, can we go back to Dallas in the future? But like, I really hope we stick with San Antonio because me and the other casters and a lot of the players, like it was a genuine blast to be in for the weekend.
I am so sad that I missed it, honestly, because I figured that San Antonio was going to be a good event, just like location. It just kind of seemed like everything was kind of set in stone for that. Also, y'all got to do all the Christmas shenanigans, like for the actual broadcast.
With the sweaters and
yeah, which looked so much fun. Like that. I don't know why Valorant also always has to be on the same weekend as Pokemon stuff, but it looked. I had a great time at my Valorant event, but like y'all looked like you had such a blast.
Well, speaking of some of that Christmas related or holiday related content, did you see that not only Giovanni Costa was not the only winner this weekend?
Yes, I saw that you won the Christmas cookie decorating contest.
Yeah, who would have thought? Honestly, going into it on Saturday, I thought I had no chance. I was like, man,
I thought so too. I saw your cookie. I didn't think you had a chance off that either.
What do you mean? My cookie was great. I think it came out from idea to execution. I think I did a pretty solid job. Now I'm no artist, but like I think I deserved the win. I think Twitch chat got the poll right, got the vote right.
Well, if because like Evans wasn't eligible, right? I think he would have smoked all of you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so Evan was the 6th cookie, and apparently Twitch chat polls can only have 5 answers. Yeah. So because he was the SME, he wasn't eligible. But yes, if he was eligible, he would have cleaned all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get a good look at all the cookies, but when I saw the poll when it went up, and I saw like Gabby's Bidoof, and I was like, great, Gabby's gonna win another contest just because she's doing a Bidoof. Love you, Gabby. Not a slander, but like Twitch chat loves Bidoof. It's the whole meme, So it's like, of course, people are gonna pick that way. But so I was pleasantly surprised when Twitch chat did not go for oh, which is the Bidoof, but actually going for their favorite cookie, you know?
Here, I just sent it to you on Discord if you want. I have the photo, the Twitch chat vote, but then all of our cookies also.
Ooh, yes. I
If
do
you
want to
wanted
see the
to
cookies.
see those. Because Jake almost won, he came in second place. I was 34%, he was 27%. Jake's Mega Metagross was also kind of solid.
It was, yeah. And, like, I think, like, Gabby's Bidoof was, like, well done. So, especially, like, surprised that Twitch chat did just go, oh, Bidoof, you know? Maybe because your cookie had the most color to it.
I had a lot, yeah.
Also, Iron Bundle. It's
yeah.
Sorry, Len. It's so bad. It's really funny, but it's so bad.
You can't say sorry, Len, and then say that.
No, it's really bad.
Like, you don't understand.
The Snorlax isn't much better.
Len had been the Iron Bundle guy all weekend, and he had the Iron Bundle Christmas sweater that he wore as well, so like he had to commit to the bit.
He's doing exactly what Iron Bundle does majority of the time. He's missing.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm sorry. Sometimes it's like that, you know.
It'd be like that, Len. It is what it is, you know.
He's too good at Pokemon and casting and everything else. Can't be good at everything, you know.
Yeah, well, what was funny, so if you didn't see it, because, you know, I know you only watched that one section on day 2, was as they were presenting it, Jake and I were in the commentary booth, so it was everyone else except for us in there. And so, like, Dwee was trash talking all weekend. He was like, I'm doubling down, I'm winning this, I'm tripling down, I'm going to crush all of you guys. And then, like, his Snorlax left a lot to be desired, let's just say. That's the polite.
I'm so glad Dwee's back, but it ain't for his cookie decorating skills.
And so they're trash talking about how great it is, and then apparently they put Jake's Mega Metagross upside down on the stage, and so Jake was just like fuming in the booth, like my Metagross upside down, fix it. So then, as they're like going one by one in the ISO shot, like they're like, oh, we're being told that the Metagross is actually upside down. So then Dwee goes to pick it up and switch it, but then he just drops the cookie on the floor. And so Jake is now even more upset that his Metagross is just getting griefed by Dwee. Oh my god, it was such a good time, man.
I need to go back and watch that. Oh my god, I had no clue.
Oh, so good.
Oh man, poor Jake. Yeah, that cookie just looks sick, but
I think people like my creativity because I did the half and half, and they're Scarlet and the Violet, and then I also admittedly, like, when I won, I was like, I wonder what Sierra thinks. These cool cookie Pokemon coming out victorious.
Unreal. I mean, I already told you. I don't. I think it's kind of, but you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of colors. I can respect the decoration.
It took me a while. It took me like 20 minutes to do.
I like how you say a while, like when we were all carving pumpkins at Toronto. Like, it wasn't like you had to spend all day sitting there carving your pumpkins when you weren't casting. Like, that took forever. No regrets. But if you were trying to do a good pumpkin, that actually took dedicated time.
No, I would have lost. Luckily, I did not have to do a pumpkin in Toronto, but that one I would not have been victorious like the cookies.
I wish I could have done the cookies, but it'd be like that next time, you know.
All right, let's speed run San Antonio as it's the last Regulation E tournament. We already talked a lot about Regulation E. We're all excited about Regulation F and stuff. So there's some big things. Obviously, Giovanni Costa, the first regional championship in Gio's history, has been playing the game for a very long time. So congrats to Gio. Definitely deserved. It was funny that it's only the second time this year that he did not use Dragonite at an event, and he ended up, winning a regional without it.
Dragonite's holding him back. That's all I can say. But no, huge kudos to him and like the rest of the team. Like, just it's curious because obviously there's some really, really strong Pokemon on there that are pretty, like, you got the Flutter Golden Go combo, you have the Iron Hands, the Ogerpon, but then you have Urshifu Dark as well as the Farigiraf, which I don't know, was kind of kind of cool. And
Life Orb
notably,
for Farigiraf.
yeah, and notably, no Hizumi and Arcanine. So in terms of our broadcasted regionals, that is the first time for like 7, 8 events that Hizumi and Arcanine has not won.
Yeah, it wasn't on either finalist team, right? The highest finishes. I'm looking right now. Am I crazy? I think there's one in top 8.
Yeah, second place by So there was
so Raghav did
finals.
it. Sorry.
Yeah, in finals there was, but there was not another Hizumi and Arcanine in all of top 8. There was, however, 3 Regidrago, Torn, Golden Go teams. Z, Tang, and Jody. And I would not have been surprised if there was like working on.
There was a lot of Regidrago, honestly, in the field. Like, I would say on day 1 alone, in those, I guess, 6 rounds of Swiss, whatever, from round 3 to round 9, we had 3 or 4 different Regidragos on stream. We had multiple on stream on day 2. Like, it may not have made the top 12 graphic, but it was a very popular Pokemon for sure. We even saw, I don't know if we have the usage down here on Victory Road or not, but yeah, the day 2 that was day 1 had Fluttermane at top, and then Urshifu, then Rillaboom, then Tornadus, and then day 2 Urshifu rose, but Tornadus still stayed in like the 3rd slot. So there was like less Tornadus here, less Arcanine. Assuming Arcanine goes from 6th most common to straight off the graphic, and in day 2, like Ogerpon, both Hearthflame and Wellspring form were incredibly popular throughout the meta here. If I'm looking, there are 7 of them in top 8. The only one who didn't have it was Justin Burns. So 5 Hearthflame and 2 Wellspring. So like this meta was very different than the rest of the regulation EU meta we had.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because, like, we're talking about the lack of Hizumi and Arcanine in top 8, and it was 30% of the field on day 1. It didn't even hit the graphic for day 2, the cutoff being 19.6. And then King Gambit, which did not have, it was less than 15% usage on day 1, was 32% of the usage on day 2, which is, so it's like, it keeps like, King Gambit players keep doing, like, these big runs, but like actually it hasn't really caught on. But a lot of really successful King Gambits for day 2. I also thought it was quite interesting that the Ogerpon, the Wellspring, was higher percentage than the Hearthflame on day 1, but it was a drastic swap on day 2. So it was 35% of the Hearthflame for day 2, 20% the Wellspring, and top 8 had 5 Hearthflame, but it was the 4th to 8th slot, and the 2 Wellsprings that made it to top 8 were in the finals. So I thought that was kind of funny.
I think it's really interesting because Ogerpon Hearthflame, its big meta development in San Antonio was having Follow Me instead of Grassy Glide or Swords Dance or something else in that 4th slot for it, where usually you were seeing Follow Me from the grass version and the grass water version of Ogerpon. Just like it's a little more defensive, right? You have Water Absorb, you can try to redirect stuff away, and then since Ogerpon Hearthflame gives itself an attack boost when it terrestrializes, like you don't want to click Follow Me because you want to just do damage. But like every Ogerpon Hearthflame pretty much we saw in day 2 and in cut was the Follow Me version, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know for as much as people have like kind of trashed on Reg E, the whole Torn, Water Shifu kind of stuff, I feel like we ended off Reg E on quite an interesting note. I know that when we're looking at the top 8, I mean, Ugarte and Riley are running the same team. Z, Tang, Azarelli are all running the same team. But like when you're looking at the finals with Gio and Raghav, like you have Clefairy for Raghav, you got the Lando Eye, Gio with the Farigiraf Dark Urshi, Justin Burns with like that Heatran. The Heatran's been struggling out there sometimes, but he got it to a 3rd place finish. So even if a lot of Pokemon are repeated, I actually, from an outside perspective, I thought it was pretty good. I also don't think if you're looking at Brady got 10th place with Senesha, like Brambleghast made it to 9. Alolan Ninetales, Sinishot to 11th place. Double Incarnate Genies for Ryan. Like, there's so many different things that even if we have a high percentage of repeated Pokemon, I actually thought the event was still good.
No, for sure, I agree. I think there's variations. Like, we actually saw Volt Switch Iron Hands multiple times this weekend, where that's kind of like fallen dead, right? But people they'd rather pivot than do damage some of the times with like Heavy Slam. But it's cool that Single Strike won the final regional of a format dominated by Surging Strikes, and then the Life Orb on Frigoraph is just crazy because like I know every time I've used Frigoraph, like every hit point has been crucial to trying to survive. So like consciously sacrificing 10% of your HP for 30% more damage on Frigoraph just seems like such like a crazy concept, since most people are like Citrus Berry or Rocky Helmet or Leftover, trying to make it bulky, like have a more offensive Frigoraph was like a really cool adjustment for Geo. And in the finals, it was actually pretty interesting how it played out. Like the Clefairy was super MVP for Raghav. Like every follow me, Friend Guard multiple times, left Raghav's like other teammate Pokemon at like 2 HP, just from Friend Guard, lessening the damage. But then what happened at the end of game 1 was who was it? Landorus and was it Rillaboom? Somebody else? I can't remember who was on the field next to Landorus for Raghav. They got double Icy Wind crit. And Landorus 4 times a week got one shot by it. And it just completely changed the game for Raghav, unfortunately. But game 2, Geo played really clean and deserved, all the praise in the world. But like it was just a really interesting way that Raghav just was finding himself, in a spot to like potentially win that game, and Clefairy was so OP and so huge to like survive every hit, and then just double Icy Wind crits, and it just changed everything.
It feel like that sometimes for Pokemon. It really is.
Yeah, we were literally terrified when we saw the Landorus just go. We're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that'll be like that, but still deserved win by Geo and deserved like run by Raghav. Honestly, whenever like Raghav actually attends an event, pops off. So I think that's super, super cool. I feel like too, looking at this top 8, it's actually just so incredibly stacked. Like it's incredible. Like you cannot sing Riley's praises enough for what he's been able to accomplish throughout the season as well. And I know Tang has been on like the bad end of quite a bit. Bad luck headed his way. We've gotten to see like on stream, like it's been kind of bad. So it was awesome to see that he made it like to this point in competition too, right? So
yeah, for sure. It was a great weekend. Like I said, food wise and hanging out with friends wise, and playing games and everything. But then also like the VGC and like our stream matches. We had a Galarian Zapdos at 5-0 that we pulled on stream. Got absolutely dumpstered, but it was 5-0 at that point, right?
Of course, so it gets dumpstered right when you
right when we put it on stream. Yeah, and it was so funny because it was the shiny Galarian Zapdos, which makes it yellow like regular Zapdos. So it's cool. Like it's just like very like it's just like odd to look at because like it looks like kind of like a messed up version of Zapdos, like on the ground using its legs instead of flying, right? But I don't know, just overall it was a great time. I'm happy we had the Christmas sweaters and stuff. I also got to make a joke that like when Raghav made the finals, I was like it was partially my credit, or I should take partial credit for it because I sat next to Raghav at the Lakers game on Friday. So like we had a whole row. There was 18 of us. That shout us out. Alberto set it up. He called the Spurs, front office to get a package deal or whatever. So we had an entire row of VGC people. And we all went to the Spurs Lakers game together, and it was a fun time. Got to see LeBron,
LeBron James. Nah, that sounds like a good time. And I feel like there is a trend of if the city's cool and we're allowed to be goofy for the broadcast, that the event just ends up being awesome. Toronto was absolutely amazing. San Antonio, you're saying, is absolutely amazing. I'm just saying, Pokemon, let us do more cool
Let
things.
us be silly. Let us play Pokemon Stadium for 45 minutes. Which, if you didn't see that
Oh,
that
I
happened.
was okay. I did actually tune in during that for a little bit, and I was mad trash talking y'all in the chat for a little bit. I was like, yeah, of
No, you
course they would
were.
play this the second I wasn't there because they know that I would thrash all of them at this. Specifically, too, it was right when you were playing that Chansey game, which I know we have talked about that
Yes.
we both can 100 that game every time. And of course, you smoked the others, and I'm just sitting there like, of course he's doing that when I'm not there because I'd be the only competition. I was going off. Chat was on my side too. Chat had my
Nah,
back.
dude,
But
Len was incredible at some of those mini games. I think it was probably about when we played the first time around. It was just me, Jake, and Gabby. So I cleared that one. I'm not even gonna lie. I was I was just I was winning every one of those. But then then it was me, Dwee, Len, and Gabby, and the 4 players. I would say Len probably won probably like 65% of the time, and then I won the other 35%. So he had my number. You got to give credit where credit's due.
I didn't watch closely enough because I had to work. But yeah, I just y'all knew I would have smoked you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
That's all
saying.
that
So
matters. Yeah,
we'll have to.
there's always next San Antonio. Okay.
Tragic. It's so tragic. But hey, there's more regionals next year, but there'll be Regulation F, which is the drum roll perfect segue to the question of the week as we start closing this out. So, our question of the week is coming out from Hannah in our Discord. So, if you're not a part of the OHKO Discord, reminder, we asked for a question of the week there. We've got memes. We have some dedicated
We have
memesters
some banger memers in there.
that post fresh content every single day. There's team building, there's like helping with Pokemon, great stuff. So yes, thank you, Hannah, for your question of the week. We had quite a few questions too, but this one I think really fits in with what we've been talking about this episode. I'm asking, what's going to be the Hisuian Arcanine of Reg F? Mon that comes out of nowhere to be a top cut staple. I love this because Hisuian Arcanine did just kind of come out of nowhere. There's some
It
people that
truly
kind
did.
of up-talked it, but other than that, it came out of nowhere and just won 7 broadcasted regionals in a row.
Yeah, and in the IC, right? So
Yeah, which was crazy.
So how do you want to answer this question? Do you want to go off of like something we think because I'm looking at Jody's tier list right now. So like, should I choose a low rank thing that's going to do well, or like, do we have to follow the full arc of Hisuian Arcanine, or are we just saying something that will win every event that's not Incineroar?
So basically the same way as we do our caster predictions, to where you can interpret it how you want, but if you're just going to pick a Pokemon that's obviously good, like, you suck in your lane, basically.
Yeah, I agree completely,
So,
wholeheartedly.
If you want, I can go first because I know my
Yeah,
Pokemon.
you go first. Let me hear this.
I'm gonna say Lapras. So I think the formats at the beginning are quite fast to where a Pokemon like Lapras can't really exist well. But I think Water Ice is a pretty decent coverage. Lapras' stats, especially defensively, are pretty okay as well. Playing it as a slower Pokemon that you can't necessarily get through and having access to things like Perish Song, I think it'd be really good that once we get to the balancey part of the format, especially since there is an additional month in there, that it could be good. I don't think it'd be Hisuian Arcanine good, but realistically, looking over the list, I don't think anything can get to that. I think like the other answer that I would have would be Porygon 2. I think that one's a little bit more realistic, but I don't think it's going to come out of the blue. I think it's going to be pretty good from the get-go. I think it was a little disrespected on Jody's tier list here.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some comments in the replies that, on some of Jody's selections. For example, there's only 3 Pokemon in S and A tier, so B tier is essentially like A tier if you think about it, because like there's hardly any Pokemon above it. But I think that could be interesting with Lapras. I would love that personally. Lapras is one of my favorite Pokemon. You can have like a really bulky set and go like Perish Song and some other things with it. So I would be very excited if Lapras ends up being pretty strong in the meta. My choice though, I think Entei has a huge potential in this format because now we know the legendary beasts all have inner focus, right? So they can't get intimidated, and inner focus wasn't relevant in Sword and Shield because you just got one shot by Dynamax attacks anyway, so it didn't matter what your attack stat was. So now that there is no Dynamax, Entei stats are really good. If you give it an Assault Vest, it covers up its special defense. You can have Sacred Fires, 50% chance to burn, Terra Normal Extreme Speed, just like the Arcanines and Dragonites have been using. Terra Normal Extreme Speeds is really good that can't get intimidated. If you'd rather a supportive set with Will-O-Wisp instead of Sacred Fire, I guess you could go for that. But did it gain Stomping Tantrum? I forget. Entei gained some good coverage this generation. I can't remember off the top of my head. So the fact that Incineroar can't intimidate it, and it can do the same Terra Normal Extreme Speed stuff that Arcanine and Dragonite and stuff have used to success. Like I know Joe Garte was already streaming with Entei Chien Pao in a tournament as we were recording. So you just changed Dragonite into Entei, right? So that's my choice.
Yeah, I feel like your answers have been better than mine. I stand by the Porygon 2 answer. The Lapras, so I think that it can have more use than where it's been kind of put. I don't think it follows the Hisuian arc trend. I do think Porygon 2 could. I got to think about it a little bit more.
What do you think of the Iron Crown Booster Energy stuff? Because that's the one everyone's like popping off about online right now. Booster Energy, Indeedee Female, Expanding Force, like Stab.
Ugly Pokemon aren't good.
Okay.
But no, I was thinking, their Entei actually reminded me of this, but I feel like something like Suicune, could be
very
pretty
bulky.
Okay. Yeah, it's bulky Pokemon, hard to take down, good coverage, good supporting options. So
I think it gets Tailwind, right?
Yeah, unless they took it away, but it did. So I think it has a place on like the teams that could be making them runs on like the slow, like bulkier end. So. Yeah, I don't know. I still have not practiced nearly enough for someone who's literally competing in Portland in 2 weeks. So
Sarah, you gotta start grinding.
I know. Maybe we'll wrap this up so I can actually start building teams. I'm probably gonna do barbecues, but I can do both at the same time. I could AFK the barbecues. I'm a bad friend.
Oh, by the way, before we end, I forgot to say the one. There's a really fun stream match moment in San Antonio where we had Adi versus Alex Underhill, and so. Obviously, Tub takes bros, fighting off against each other. But then Alex was very, vocal about losing Roaring Moon Weezing, so he brought Salamence and Galarian Weezing instead of Roaring Moon Kanto Weezing, with the change in the interactions or whatever. So it was really funny that he's like, I'm bringing Roaring Moon Weezing, and then he brings Salamence Galarian Weezing instead. But they were both doing well. But the best part about that whole matchup with their friends and, the silly strategies and stuff. But Clefairy got taunted and only had 4 support moves on Adi's end. And Clefairy got a knockout with struggle.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, my goodness. That I love that. Especially for me, too. My first WBE match way back when I was learning VGC. I let my Clefairy get taunted. It struggled. It didn't get a KO, but that was like a very memorable moment of like starting off my VGC career. So that's awesome to hear.
Like, imagine getting a struggle KO against one of your friends. Like that would be. You're never gonna live that down.
Yeah, you ain't living that down. That's you have the Discord tag on your name now. You're known as that. But oh my goodness. But I think now I'm going to go team build and get some BP for more item printing, gotcha gambling. So, yeah, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of OHKO. Sorry again for any mic-related things. We really did try to set this up. It's supposed to be a good mic. We'll find out once this goes live how about that is. But Make sure to be following on X for updates to the podcast, as well join the Discord because that's where the bulk of the information is going to be. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week with another episode of OHKO, and we'll see you then.